rooted in false narratives, right? And the fear and the self-doubt in many instances, um, in some instances, it was rooted in my inability to be my full authentic self.
My people, this is your boy Monroe, aka He Smiles, your essential life coach. You are watching Verse TV. Now go ahead, comment, rate, share, subscribe.
And since we're talking about, giving our opinions and shows and all this stuff, tell us about your show, The Naked Truth Experience. Like, first of all, why that name?
Yeah. Listen, man, it started out, it's so funny, I'll be quick, but the way that show started out, somebody on a different organization, different show asked me to be a male perspective on a dating panel. I'm like, sure. So I threw out some questions to my followers. Folks poured in questions about what do they want to hear about men and their perspective on dating. I was like, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to be able to address all this on this other person's show. So then I just said, well, I'll go live next week, and I'll just answer these questions. And it was Tuesday of the next week. And I was like, oh, shit, you told these people you was going live. Like, you can't lie to the people. So I was like, what you gonna do? I was like, well, I'm gonna go live. And then I had a naked photo of myself, mind you. I had a naked photo of myself, and I cut it right at the butt. I'm keeping it classy, keeping it tasty. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna put this photo on here. And then I said, what you gonna call this? And I was like, well, damn it, you naked. So call it The Naked Truth. And that's literally how I came up with the name. So it was The Naked Truth about dating and relationships originally. And I went live that Thursday, man. And here we are this Thursday will be week number 15. I've been on for 15 consecutive weeks, man. And I've had some amazing, amazing guests to come on and talk about basically their truth. And we talk about a myriad of topics, but what I love about it, man, again, going back to my love, I am unapologetically lifting up the Black community and the narrative of communities within the Black community that is marginalized. So our trans men and women, our women in general, our gay, bisexual, Black men, like these are issues that we're bringing to the forefront where a lot of times we're marginalized and we're pushed to the edges and we don't get our voice heard. But all perspectives are welcome here, and we're going to lift it up, and we're going to embrace all the humanity. So that's the Naked Truth Experience.
Amen to that, and thank you for bringing the 15 weeks consistently. Come on. All it takes is, 21 days to break a habit, and you've been doing it 15 weeks. So you definitely in people's heads and their minds and their spirits. So, I definitely saw it myself. I got to pop in and see a couple. So shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing too but to do it. So keep it up. Keep it up the good work. So you're a fellow 80s baby and mental health and a mental health professional. So we will dig a little deeper with this mindset. On an episode of your show, The Naked Truth Experience, you mentioned that you used to sag your jeans. After Aaron graduated, one of his 70 baby friends told him that he was now too old to be quite sloppy. He felt kind of badly, but partially adjusted accordingly. And sometimes he's still sloppy but comfortable. Okay, but what is it? What made you decide to stop? Is it an always stop kind of thing, or sometimes stop? Aside from your work, why do people make such personal life attire changes? Talk to me, professional.
Yeah. Well, listen, first of all, let me give a little context for the whole sagging of the jeans comment. I was talking about my grandma, who will be 86 next week. Love you, Granny. Next month, excuse me. But I was talking about when I was a kid. She was like, yo, you're not going anywhere with me with them jeans sagging, right? It was a big deal. And so we were talking about it in the context on the show of respectability politics, right? And how we've been taught, especially by that older generation, that the way you present yourself in public is the way people are going to perceive you, is the way people are going to treat you. Also going into this whole piece on like, you got to be 10 times better than your white counterparts, right? I know we've heard that narrative all the time. So there was this whole piece on what is presentable, what is respectable. And now we have all these different norms. We have, casual, business casual, work appropriate, right? All these different things that really try to tell us what and how we are supposed to represent ourselves, right? And so I think as we go through the ages, folks then also put they impose that same piece on us and say, well, listen, you this age, or you're part of this era, so you can't be dressing like that. And here's my whole thing. Listen, if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel loved, if it makes you feel wonderful, if you love yourself, I'm like, express yourself, right? Because the reality of it is that the way in which we may present to other people has no bearing on what is inside of us, right? It has no bearing on the level of my intelligence, wisdom, intellect. It has no bearing on the condition of my heart. It has no bearing on my soul, right? How I'm going to treat you. And so many people get caught up in appearances, which is the main reason why we have what we have today. Because you're black, because I'm black, well, goddamn it, you must be evil. You must be a menace. You must be violent. We can go on and on about how we present to other people, and based on their insecurities, based on their misunderstandings, based on their ignorance, right? Based on their self-hate, right? Is how they choose to treat us. So I don't conform to all of that. I'm going to be 40 this year. You're going to catch me in some skinny jeans, brother, because I can still wear them. And I'm in some skinny jeans, right? You hear what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm like, do you, right? Do you? And be more worried about the condition of your heart and how you treat other people versus what you got on. That's mine.
Preach. Okay? That part. So, people may poke fun at the 64-year-old dude in the club with a t-shirt and a baseball cap. Why?
I know.
You know, like, homosexual Aaron is curious to know, because he wants to know, is there a 64-year-old female equivalent?
Yeah. You know what I think here's why I own that, right? Because I know I've been in the club and I've been with my homie and I'm like, bro, I can't be that dude, right? Like, I can't be the old dude in the club, right? We've all said that. But what is that really rooted in, right? That's rooted in my fear of being alone, of my fear of being unsatisfied, of my fear, right, of being unfulfilled. Because the assumption is that 64-year-old dude that's still in the club, whether he's in a baseball cap or, you know, the older cats being the Gators and shit, you know that too. There's that other side, right? Regardless of how they're presenting, we make an assumption that they're still looking for something, that they're still chasing something, that they are unfulfilled in some way, which may or may not even be the case, right? So we make a lot of assumptions. But that's a lot of times where that fear is that like, yo, I don't want to be that person that has not prioritized my love life or my ability to formulate long-lasting relationships. I've focused on superficial things. I've done wrong to people that, you know, I may feel is irreparable. I may think I'm a bad person. I may think I'm not good for like there's this long litany of things that we go through that we start to disqualify ourselves from being, if we want to be, in a committed, loving, fulfilling relationship, or just overall to being fulfilled and truly satisfied. So in the piece on like, is there a 64-year-old version of the woman? Absolutely, right? I think there's a 64-year-old version of the woman who may make regrets or have regrets in her life about things that she's prioritized or things that she's felt like she's missed out on. So I feel like it's a human thing, right? Not just I'm in the club, I'm the old gay man trying to prey on the young gay dudes. I'm trying to whatever. Now that dynamic does exist. Like we know it exists. I'm a realist here. But I'm saying I don't want to make that assumption on every dude I see in the club that's over 60 or over 50, because we were saying about the over 50-year-olds too, that they're unfulfilled. So that's what I say about that.
Got you. Thank you for that. So, do you have any other media specialties or brands?
Well, I mean, we mentioned I'm a singer, brother. So, like, I mean, I really started this whole journey out as far as being in front of a camera, being on stage. All of that really came from, again, I got to credit my black church. Shout out to Antioch Progressive Baptist Church, old school, 5801 2nd Avenue in Sacramento, California. But Man, that was my training ground, man. And at the age of 6, I sang my first solo. I started directing choirs at 8. So that really came through. I really fell in love with music and the whole performance aspect of it. So I did acting when I was a kid. I was actually in the Ike and Tina Turner Story. That was my little claim to the second grade fame, because I got to be out of school for a day to shoot the one scene. But yeah, man, I did that, and the music has definitely continued on. But as far as like what I do in the media today, I'm a talk show host. Again, I'm a media personality, so I get to be here with you all today. And then I'm a life coach. So, hold on, I'm over here. Listen, my hands get to moving. I'm a very expressive talker as well.
That's okay.
So I pulled these out. But yeah, that's you get into it. That's where you can see me. You can still see me singing and performing in different aspects, but that's what it is, man.
Yes, sir. See, talk about it. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. So we got maybe like 2-3 more questions and we'll wrap up this part. So cool. What has been your hardest part of your work?
Oof, man. The hardest part of my work is overcoming the self-doubt and the self-sabotage. Because for so long, it was the reason why I disqualified myself from being who I am today. Because I was quick to tell myself why I was not worthy, why I wasn't good enough, why I wasn't qualified. You can go down the list once again of all the negative narratives that were playing in my head that were just really rooted in false narratives, right? And the fear and the self-doubt in many instances, in some instances, it was rooted in my inability to be my full authentic self, to be a black gay man who is proud to say he's a black gay man. That took a long time because I was so riddled in fear with being found out. And I had learned from a very young age about how to perform masculinity, about how to perform male straightness, about how to perform being what a typical black man was supposed to be, versus learning who Monroe is and doing Monroe. And I don't in any way regret any step of my journey. So I'm glad I went through the things that I went through so that now I am the life coach that I am today. And I can speak to things very intimately. And when I have clients who are struggling with accepting their authentic self, regardless of what that may be, it doesn't even have to be relegated to sexual orientation. But these things are things I had to overcome and still daily have to remind myself, affirm myself that you are more than enough. And this is where you are supposed to be. This is your calling. This is what you've been equipped to do. And this is what you are empowered to do. So, yeah, man, I would say that's what I have to overcome constantly. And I'm glad about it because it also keeps me rooted in what is important. And it keeps me grounded in why I do what I do.
Nice.
So I am your essential life coach. So I do give free consultations. You can DM me, go to my IG page. I'm at he_smiles on IG. I'm also at he_smiles on Facebook, or you can go to monroehoward.com.